it's gonna ring now. He been fly, ain't a damn thing changed now. He elevated while they looking at him strange now. Gone, let it ring now. He in the game now. He's a ruler, I know he is gonna ring now. He been fly, ain't a damn thing changed now. He elevated while they looking at him strange now. Gone, let it ring now. Every time he show up, it's a frenzy, boy, just hold up. Check his wrists, yes, he's froze up, he's divine.
What's up, you guys? This is Qaysean Williams, and I am back with another episode of the podcast. This has been a blessing to just being able to really tap into doing these podcasts. This is something that I have been wanting to do for a very long time, and I just didn't pick the mic up. I mean, I had bought the equipment, and don't get me wrong, I have videos on the internet of me talking into the camera about different topics and things, and motivational messages to people, and interviews and things of that nature. So I've always tapped into it. It just now I have the microphone and I'm actually recording episodes. So I just want to just say, wow, proud of myself for that. And this episode of the podcast is inspired by the phrase where people say no as a complete sentence. And as I reflect on saying no and it being a complete sentence, I can recall many times in my life where I've done things for people and said yes to so many different things that didn't serve me, that drained me, that I just straight up didn't want to do. And so I started to just and I do this a lot. I always ask myself, why? Why did I do that? Or why do I feel like I have to say yes when I want to say no? And that caused me to kind of really go back into my childhood. And if you're not aware of childhood meditation, it's tapping into your childhood memories and who you were, your childhood consciousness, and doing that childhood. If you don't know, Google childhood healing and what childhood trauma is, because a lot of things that we experience today and the way we react to a lot of things today comes from our childhood traumas and experiences that we've had as kids. So I just decided to start tapping into my childhood, because I want to just kind of figure out where the root of a lot of ways that I have and things that I think about and perspectives come from. And I can always, whenever I think about why I say no, I'll say yes to things I want to say no to, I think about me as a kid and just growing up and me having this injury and this disability. If you guys do not know, I have Erbs Palsy in my left arm, which is a nerve injury that occurred during birth. So it was something I still have, but I had since birth all my life. And I remember just not wanting people to hate me or not wanting to make people mad or upset. So I did everything I could to please people. And that meant saying yes to things when I wanted to say no to, just out of protection, just so that way I could survive in the world. And thinking about that now and in my adult life, how I sometimes still think like that 8-year-old, that 10-year-old, that 15-year-old of self that I was, of just people pleasing. That's basically what that cultivated into, is just people pleasing. And as I reflected on that, I started to think about current things that have occurred where I said yes to and where I wanted to say no to, or when I should have spoke up about things and I didn't, or, anything that would have probably caused confrontation or caused a rift. I always backed away from it. And I know now that it started because of just as a mechanism, as a safety mechanism as a kid, not be teased or bullied or, even just to even be seen. I always just put up this, I kind of created my own invisible cloak to, avoid all of that. And I think about that now, there are times now where I just say no and I don't give an explanation. And I see how for some people it makes them feel away, because when you're so used to saying yes to people, people are also so used to you saying yes. and people are expecting you to say yes. So they're used to all of whatever your yes brings. And Beyonce said it so best. The first time I say no, it's like I never said yes. That's how some people really be acting, which is wild. And I also decided to dig a little bit deeper with that because I'm a human, right? I'm not going to act like I am. I am an ethereal being, though, but I am also a human living in a human, having a human experience. So there are also times where I'm a little appalled if someone says no, if I'm used to them saying yes, or not even that, or just I'm used to someone doing certain things and they're not doing it, and it's kind of like, okay, I have to adjust. But you also have to have, I have emotional intelligence, and I'm also, again, self-aware. So I'm not reacting in a toxic way. Now, if I feel like it's just a complete 360 right away, I might ask questions like, well, why did you change that? Or why something different all of a sudden? But I understand that people are people, and people have a right to do whatever it is that they please to do. So me making my no a complete sentence ruffles feathers sometimes, and it kind of allowed me to face the fears that I always had as a kid of just confrontation and just kind of making people who may not like me because of me saying no. But on the other side of that is a type of strength that I have created and cultivated because of saying no when I want to say no, and saying yes when I want to say yes, because the universe and God have they know that I know now. They know that I know what I deserve and what I want. And when you're saying yes to everything, you're not making room, or you don't have room. You're not making time for the things that you really want to say yes to. There's just no time. There's just no space for it if you're saying yes to so much filler stuff. So when you're saying yes, make sure you're saying yes to something that you really want to do, and say no to things that you really don't want to do, or say no when you really want to say no. And you got to stand on that. Don't be weak in the knees. You got to stand on what you say, for real, for real. And that is such a superpower. And I am just so blessed that I'm aware of that and that I exercise my no. And I was listening to a podcast. I listened to a motivational video on YouTube, and it was like a compilation of different successful people, and Oprah was one of them. And I remember her story about, her becoming, successful and rich, and everyone had their hands out for everything, and she felt like she was just obligated to do everything for everybody. Whenever someone called, she just had to say yes because she was Oprah. She had the money. And then one time, one of her friends called and asked her if she wanted to donate to a charity of some kind, and she decided that she was going to exercise her no. And she was afraid because she wasn't sure if the person was going to ever want to talk to her again, or they was going to feel like she was a bad person. And she told the person no, and the person was like, okay, catch you later. And she was like, that's it? Oh my God. And I resonated with that so much, because for a lot of my life, I was so fearful of doing everything because I just didn't want to mess up. I felt like I wasn't enough as a kid, so I felt like I had to do everything perfectly just to be normal, or just to add up to regular. And I mean, and that has played a really significant part in my success today, because I have a work ethic that is just top tier. And I know that a lot of that stems from just me putting in extra work to just match up to being normal, whatever that is. So now I just harness that energy in a way of like, I'm already who I am, which is amazing. I'm going to put that energy, just keep getting greater, because that's what I do, not to compare with anybody else. We're going to have another episode of that as well, of comparisons and why that's good and bad. But anyway, I'm going to just keep it nice and sweet. Your no is a complete sentence. Your no is a complete sentence. And anyone that tries to take away that authority of your no don't deserve to be around you, don't deserve your energy. And be mindful of what you're saying yes to, because you want to do things that is pouring into your life. And in life, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything needs to just revolve around you, because that's kind of like selfish. there are things that you're going to do in life that is going to benefit other people. You just have to have the self-awareness and and the discernment to know when it's appropriate to do that and when it's appropriate to say no. And that's going to look different for a lot of people, which is whenever I have this conversation with anybody, when we talk about just not allowing anyone to take advantage of you, it looks different for everybody. I mean, it has like universal principles, but it's going to look different for you. It's going to look different for me because we're on different paths in life. So the message is just when you want to do something, you'll say yes to it. And you ask yourself, do I really want to do this? What would this do to me if I do this? How would this make me feel? Because I just actually helped out. There's a nonprofit group here in my hometown called The Block, and they did. They had it was after Thanksgiving, and they were feeding the homeless and clothing them. And I am very good friends with one of the founders. And it was on my spirit to just reach out to her and ask her if I could be a volunteer. And for me, it wasn't something that I did for me. It was to help other people. And in a way, me helping other people made me feel good to know that I could be of service to someone else. And that feeling is in all throughout my design work, because I design and it makes people feel beautiful and it makes people feel elevated. So I feel that feeling quite often. So when I say, make sure you do it for yourself, you can also do for others and it still feels good for you. So you just have to discern that. And, helping out to feed the homeless, it was just so eye-opening for me. And again, it just made me give, praise to God and be grateful for everything that I have, because there are people out here who don't have as much as I do. And they deserve to have amazing things as well. But who's to say their life is bad because they don't have everything I think a person should have, if that makes, So it makes me think about all of that whenever I am thinking. So whenever you're making a decision, I'm going to wrap this up because I can talk all night. Whenever you're making a decision about anything, make sure it's something that you really want to do, something that aligns with your purpose in life. And if you don't know what your purpose is in life, it starts with knowing who you are. So you need to start getting to know yourself if you haven't already. If you are getting to know yourself, congratulations. Congratulations. Because getting to know yourself and knowing yourself is such a beautiful thing. So when you know yourself, you know what works for you, you know what you should do, you know what aligns with you, and you'll know what to say yes to. And you'll get more of what aligns with you, what fits with you more when you say yes to the right things, the things that lifts you up. And remember, your no is a complete sentence. And when people say that no is a complete sentence, it means I don't know your explanation. I can give you one if I choose to do so out of respect, but I don't have to because I just said no. So don't be afraid to exercise your no. Don't be afraid. It's superpower there. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, your mind, your body, and your spirit. Make sure you're being of love to yourself and to people around you. This world right now that we're in, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. So you never know what the next person is going through. So just spread love and light to people in the world. I promise you it comes back to you, and it just makes you feel even better just knowing that you are kind to people. And that you're sometimes the reason people smile and keep going. I really appreciate you guys so much for all the love and for all the messages that you send me, just expressing how the way I am living my life is elevating you, and how the things that I say is motivating you and making you feel inspired. That's beautiful to me. That elevates me. So I thank you so much, and I pray that you stay protected. I pray that God blesses you. I pray that you continue to love yourself and continue on this journey of self-development and self-growth. Remember, you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are blessed, you are highly favored, you have a purpose here, you are unique. No one is like you. So that means everything you do has an impact. Make sure that your impact and your imprint that you're having here on this earth is of love and is of beauty and remarkable. I'm Qaysean Williams, and that is the end of this podcast. Make sure you guys check me out on Instagram, RealLifeManikin, MANIKIN. And in that bio is the links to my fashion brand, Mannequin Mob, and my custom work of clients all over the world at the One Hand Sewing Man. And check out my website, www.houseofmannequin, that's HAUS of mannequin.com, for all your luxury streetwear merchandise. And I will check back in with y'all later. And if you like this video, and if you got messages from this video, or it resonated with you and made you elevate in any kind of way, please be sure to share this with somebody who you feel this message is for, and spread the love, because when you spread the love comes back to you. Okay? All right, I love y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Yeah, I never needed validation just to wear the crown.
You said what?
Glamorous, that's heat. No need to see ID. Go ahead and check his feet. I bet you never ever see nobody made like he.
Be a mannequin, real legend in them streets.
His